Hey guys, today I am back to recap the latest episode of Drag Race Season 17. Bitch, I'm a drag queen. The queens walk back into the workroom after Lucky Star's elimination, and they're all pretty devastated. Except for Joella, who can't understand why they are crying. She starts to question whether the girls love Lucky more than her. Sam Starr is elated after receiving her first win. She says to the queens who voted her last or second last can suck her tuck. Ariete does not look too thrilled, and I understand that. The majority of you guys said that she should have won last week, so there seems to be consensus here. Jules also appears to be a tad annoyed seeing Anya get her flowers for being in the top after Trimgate. This is something that I forgot to mention last week because I was a little bit confused why Anya was in the top, just because there were a few others I could have seen in the top. But I guess if production was trying to further that storyline between her and Jules, I understand why they did it. Corey King has a strong edit in this episode. She is determined to go from the bottom to the top, and the edit was there, but not in a good way. So it's a new week in the workroom, and the girls decide to do some fun light impersonations of each other. There is a bit of a shady moment between Sam Starr and Ariete, which is quickly curtailed by Rue entering the workroom. She announces that for this week's Maxi Challenge, the queens will be creating commercials for the Greatest Hits Collection Volume 1 and 2, Bitch, I'm a Drag Queen. This sort of reminded me of the infomercial challenge on season 4, except that was to RuPaul's songs. This is two iconic Drag Race moments. The queens need to reach into Bruno's pink furry box and retrieve a track. There are only 2 pairs across Volume 1 and Volume 2. Lydia and Lana receive No Class, No Manners, and Ariete and Jules receive back rolls. The rest are performing solo but can use the other queens in their Volume 1 or Volume 2 group to assist them. Rue makes it very clear that they should not be aiming for an exact recreation, but they should be making it their own. As the queens get ready, Joella expresses concerns about being more of a pop girly and less of a gospel girly. She is doing the inspirational quote from Mariah Paris Balenciaga, and the edit was there. I do wonder though why they picked this moment over some others that could have been chosen. This one was quite serious compared to the rest. It makes me wonder if it's deliberately put in there to set a queen up to fail. Maybe that's just a conspiracy, but when you study edits a lot, you start to question everything. So during the filming, Crystal Envy is rolling around like a tumbleweed. Ariete is supposedly giving nothing. Jules is giving everything. Corey is excited about her outfit reveal despite it looking very similar to what she was already wearing. And Lexi's wig rivals the one that Maddie Morphosis wore on the pit stop. It's huge. It's all kinds of chaotic and I was living for it. I have to say though, the rehearsals didn't really allude to the final products. I could not comprehend how all of it was going to come together until I saw it on the main stage. On Elimination Day, all the queens are confident. So who's lying? Because someone has to be in the bottom. The queens discuss their first time in drag and Lexi opens up to being rejected by her family, which ultimately led her to becoming destitute. I really admire those that can turn it all around like Lexi. And I have to say, guys, this is a good example of being pushed by production. We are getting lots of screen time with Lexi. We are learning about her personal life, her struggles, her triumphs. It's also a very positive edit. That's why I feel like she's either going to win the whole season or at least make it to the finale. So on the main stage this evening, we have RuPaul, Michelle Visage, Carson Kressley, and extra special guest judge, Julia Schlepfer. Category is Quilted for Your Pleasure, and I gave my top 2 to Lexi Love. This is so fashion forward and avant-garde, and I know Utica made this, so it makes sense that this is my favorite. Let me tell you though, it was really hard to pick my top 2 this week because I really loved Crystal Envy's, I loved Hormona Lisa's, I liked Ariete's, I like Sam Starr's. It's time for Bitch, I'm a Drag Queen Volume 1, and from that collection, I think Hormonas was my favorite. It's not just that I die hard love Chanel, as you know, and that moment of I nominate myself, but I think that her performance was very understated but effective. You could hear Rue cackling. From Volume 2, my favorite was On Your Nerves. It was completely and utterly a serve. She nailed that. Lagage's comedy act will always be iconic, and this was such a good interpretation of it. So it's time for the judges' critiques, and first up we have Joella. This look will never not be funny to me. She is commended for putting all of herself into her performance, but they hated her runway. This will definitely be the golden boot of the season, but there's something so iconic about it at the same time. I have to say though, this is a situation where runways matter. Because if we're looking at her performance, she did a good job. Even the girls in Untucked agree that she shouldn't have been in the bottom for her performance. I always say that runways only matter when production wants it to, and I think they were expecting the Mariah moment to flop no matter who got it. And when Joella actually did okay with it, they went for the runway. Basically, when it's your time, it's your time. Ariete is also in the bottom. Unfortunately, she was outshined by Jules. I do agree with this. I think that Ariete did okay, but she was playing Alyssa, and Alyssa's a very over-the-top persona, and Ariete didn't quite hit that level of dramatic. What I don't agree with is Michelle trying to change her makeup. I don't think Ariete needs to change anything. This is her signature paint. She says it makes her feel beautiful, and traditional makeup is never told to be more alternative, so why is it the other way around? I really wish that Michelle would stop trying to change alternative artists because it happens a lot. It happens almost every season. Crystal is in the top for a truly excellent performance and gorgeous runway. She used the girls well. Hers felt like a team effort that really paid off. Susie is given her rightful flowers for looking absolutely stunning on the runway. This is where I agree that Susie's makeup could be a bit more refined, and refined it is. I also loved her rock interpretation of Valentina and Aja's moment. Anya is compared to Barry White's wife, is that right? She is told she has such stage presence, and she really does. She's so charismatic. Corey is in the bottom for not getting any laughs and for the bib showing in her outfit. It's a shame because pre-season I thought Corey would dominate this competition, but sadly she isn't. Back on the main stage, Joella is put up for elimination. That's 2 weeks in a row. Anya ends up winning the challenge, and this is so rightfully deserved. Crystal and Susie are made safe. Ariete is safe from the bottom two, which leaves Joella and Corey King to lip sync to Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls. And oh dear lordy, Joella takes way too long to take that mattress off, and when she finally does, she doesn't know the words. This is no shade to Corey King, but she didn't really need to do much to stay. Corey King gets to Shantae, and Joella has one last chance, I'm doing that in air quotes in my mind, to pull a lever from the Badongadong tank and ultimately dunk Michelle. As expected, nothing happens, and we say goodbye to the Slasian diva of LA. I'm going to miss her messy moments, but I have to say, within 4 episodes, Joella made a huge impact. So my friends, what did you think of this week's challenge? Next week, the Queens will be back for another iteration of RDR Live. This is another comedy challenge, so I'm expecting the Queens that did well this week, like Anya and Jules, to do well next week. It's funny, this season has not gone the way that I expected it to so far. Not to be shady, but those that I thought would be here longer were early outs, and those that I expected to be heavy hitters, like Corey King, have been in the bottom several times in a row. It's keeping me guessing, and I'm here for it. Make sure you give me all the tea, and I'll be back very soon with another video.